Just earlier today, Brawl Stars put out this GIF on their YouTube community page. What is it, and what does it mean for the future of Brawl Stars? Keep watching to find out. So as most of you will have probably seen, on the Brawl Stars YouTube channel, they recently posted this in their community tab. So I'll be going over everything that I found in this short image. So the first thing I'm noticing is this Mecha Crow background. I don't think this is anything major, but it could be hinting towards a change to the Star Point skins or a new Crow skin, but it's probably nothing but a background. Now let's look at the main idea of this short clip. It is a newspaper for 4 days, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th and the 27th of June. Now in the top right corner, here, right next to Brawl News, it says this, which translates from Latin to English as Talk About Disputes, and underneath it shows the date. Now I'm guessing this is just like a title for the type of newspaper or something. I don't really know because I don't normally read newspapers, so I don't think it's really anything important. Now on to the first newspaper. The title says, Ocean Earthquakes Rock the City, and here's what the article says. Seismic activity in the ocean just outside the city has resulted in a bizarre earthquake. The initial tremors were quickly blamed on Jackie, who since publicly responded with a statement dismissing the accusation, which is sadly, yet unsurprisingly, unfit for print. Carl was quick to assemble a team of geologists who have discovered the source of the activity comes from much deeper underground, possibly from the very depths of the ocean. The earthquakes continue to grow, yet little is known as to why. So what the people of Brawl Stars world know so far is there have been earthquakes, possibly coming from the ocean, and no one knows what's causing them. Also, on this newspaper, there's a headline that says Anchors Away, with the subtitle, Will Danny Return to Talk, and a picture from a recent Brawl Talk of Ryan snapping Danny away to who knows where. I think that this is hinting to Danny not being in a few Brawl Talks as he is on vacation or wherever he is. Then finally, in the bottom right corner, we have an advert for Max Energy Drink with a 20% discount. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, so now let's take a look at the second newspaper, which again has the Daily Brawl at the top, and that Latin writing which translates to Talk About Disputes, so just the same heading as the last paper. The title reads, Toxic Spill Could Be Costly, and the article says, A mysterious spillage has seen the sea turn toxic. City residents have been advised to stay within the confines of the city and don't go near the water. The consequences of toxic spilling are being speculated. However, no one has yet admitted culpability for the accident, many citing a recent spike in demand for energy drinks as a contributing factor. Newspaper 3 has the same stuff at the top, we've already been over that. The heading reads, Colossal Crustaceans. The article says, An almost cavern-like burrow has been discovered on a beach just outside of the city. Despite baffling scientists, botanist and nature-loving Rosa has a groundbreaking theory that the hole may have been created by a crab. Given the proportions of the hole, Rosa predicts the crab's size must be gigantic. By my calculations, the relative size of this crab would dwarf Super Stadium. So, what we are seeing here is earthquakes from the ocean, toxic waste being spilled, and possibly giant crab. So at this point, I think they're hinting towards a new brawler who is some type of crab that got toxic waste spilled on it and dug a hole in the sand. Now, as you might have probably seen, there is an advert for Barley's Bar, but right under that we have a picture of Tick with words Brawl and Talk, new talk show, airs on 27th of June. So I think it's pretty safe to say that Brawl Talk will be on the 27th of June, and I think that on the days leading up to this, Brawl Stars will release a short animation each day based on the newspapers for each date that we've seen. So now finally moving on to page 4. Wow. Okay, so the heading says Unidentified Creature Seen in the City. So that's pretty big for backing up the giant toxic waste crab theory. Also, there is a picture here of the monster hiding in the shadows. From what I see, it could be a giant crab or any type of monster, but I actually think it will be something like a dinosaur. Mainly because we don't have any dinosaur brawlers or bosses in the game yet, and also the monster looks like something with spikes on the top, so maybe it's a type of robot then. Maybe that's why there is Mecha Crow in the background. I'm not sure, but as I said, there are no dinosaur brawlers or bosses yet, and what I meant by that was, in game modes like Boss Fight, Robo Rumble, and Takedown, we had a robot boss. And we have had the same robot boss since the start of Brawl Stars, so I think it will make sense for us to get a new type of boss to fight against in the new game mode. I think this is probably a boss for players to fight and not actually the new brawler. And that is because in the bottom left here there is a small article with the heading, "Another Heist in Bandit Cove." And the article reads, "A confused cashier describes his experience. A living cactus broke into my store and stole 90 kilograms of marshmallows." So I'm a little confused on this part. I'm thinking about Spike being the culprit, and here is my theory. Somehow, toxic waste was poured into the ocean. A crab got covered in it and turned into a giant monster with sharp spikes on his back. The crab needed a new home as it was too big to go back to its small rock pool, so it dug a giant hole in the sand. I believe that this crab is Spike's cousin. I know that sounds really crazy, so just hang in there. It will make sense soon, hopefully. So Spike saw that his crab cousin was turned into a monster, and the crab could not be comfortable in this giant hole because of the spikes on his back. So Spike wanted to help his friend. He had no money though, so he had to rob a store to buy a lot of marshmallows. Why marshmallows? Well, Spike's plan was to put the marshmallows on the spikes of his cousin's back so that he would be more comfortable in his hole. But when Spike did this, the marshmallows turned green from the toxic waste and they dissolved into the monster's skin. Then his eyes went green and he was in a fit of rage. The marshmallows had burned his shell, and now he had even more spikes and rough edges on his body. Spike tried to calm him down by giving him a hug, but then the spikes on his body hurt him more as he hugged him, and he thrashed around jumping out of his hole. He started running around the city trying to find water that wasn't filled with toxic waste to cool the skin down. And this is where the picture is taken from. Now I know that is a lot, and you're probably thinking, how is a crab related to Spike? And the answer is, in a world where cactus are living creatures who walk around fighting other brawlers, why would it not make sense for a crab to be a Spike's cousin? Now that's not still a great answer, but I'm new to this theory stuff, and I'm making this video really quickly so I can get it uploaded before more sneak peeks. Also, there is an advert for Max Energy Drink for free, which I'm not really sure entirely about the Max thing. I don't really know. I don't really have a theory on that yet, but maybe I'll come up with one later. So the main thing to take away is Brawl Talk will be on the 27th of June. We can expect a new monster-type brawler or a new monster boss to fight against in a new game mode, maybe like a revamped takedown. And there is my theory on the sneak peek from Supercell. I'm sorry if some of this didn't make any sense. If so, let me know in the comments. This is my first time making this type of video, and I put a lot of time and writing into it, something I'm not very good at. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, it would be nice if you liked the video and consider subscribing. If you did not enjoy the video, feel free to dislike and tell me why in the comments. That's all for now. Bye guys.